I'm Joey, and this is the Gandee Show, a place for stories, connection, and a reminder that recovery is possible. Today, I have an incredibly eloquent submission from somebody that I'm proud to call my family and my cousin and my friend. Her name is Amanda. She had an episode on Get a Grip podcast. Please go check it out. It's an incredible story. Let's get right into this. Today's episode 3, it's called Reflective Revelations. I will remember the days that I prayed for the life I have now. I have a plaque sitting on my shelf that reminds me of this. I look at it every day in a state of genuine appreciation for how relatable it is to my life at this moment. My downward spiral was a swift storm that blew through my life with such precision and ease as if it only had one mission. Not every storm is meant to disrupt your life. Some storms are meant to clear your path. The mission was not only to clear my path, but to give me the experience needed to guide the way. I needed extreme contrast in my life to identify what I wanted, who I wanted to be, and where I wanted to go. It had to hit me hard to give me the wake-up call I needed to act. It was ultimately up to me to follow along as the path became more apparent. The events that took place seemed so devastating at the time. I believe my life was in ruins. It was over. There was no coming back from this. Little did I know, life was just getting started for me, and the things were not falling apart, they were falling into place. I could either allow the storm to take me with it, or I could follow behind and pick up the pieces and decide which ones were useful and which ones were of no value. Sometimes you have to break down to be able to break through. I needed that storm. I am grateful for that storm. It disrupted vicious cycles that I was oblivious to repeating. I hadn't even noticed that I desperately needed to find my way. There would be other storms to serve a similar purpose later in my experience. I had no idea the implication of what all of this meant and how it would lead me to living the life I have always imagined. A satisfying life that I created with so much to love and to appreciate. What my experiences and path has shown is that finding the joy in life isn't about what is going on around you. No, it's about what's happening within you. The joy truly is in the personal journey. You just have to be willing to see it that way. Finding the love and happiness within yourself creates an environment of growth, which allows you to see things more clearly. You start to give your attention to the things that please you and find satisfaction in the daily occurrences that you never took the time to notice. I had to leave the destruction the storm imposed on my life behind me. I had to let it go so I could effectively navigate what was ahead of me. I had to diminish the aftermath of the destruction within me to move further away from what I was ready to leave behind. You can't reach what is in front of you if you don't let go what's behind you. When a storm blows through your life, there is always a path behind it that is ready for you to embrace. It gives you a chance to move away from the storm instead of chasing it. It has to be your conscious choice which direction you're ready to move towards. If you follow the path leading towards hope, things have a way of clearing themselves out. Look for things to feel grateful for. Find what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. Realize your own worth. Discover your purpose, your passion, and follow it. There's something so powerful about following your own bliss to create a life that aligns with who you truly are. The best thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. The journey of self-discovery has not been a smooth one. It's been a bumpy ride. I've gotten off, of course, found myself lost, alone, frustrated, and ready to surrender. I've doubted my worth, my abilities, and denied even having a meaningful purpose. I've felt unlucky. I've made myself a victim of circumstances. I've battled a war against myself in my mind. I do not make claims that it is easy to get from wherever you are to where I am, but I have been where you are, and I have made it to where I am. I believe you can do the same. Actually, I know you can. I am over here calling you to the place I stand. I made it to the other side. I cannot go to where you are. That could result in both of us losing our way. I will be your navigation. I can give you guidance and hope, but your path will not be the same as mine. I wouldn't want it to be. Your path is different for a really great reason. I cannot give you the answers or the direct route, but what I can do is remind you that you deserve life, love, and happiness. Just like anyone else, you are worth it. You don't have to figure this out alone or all at once. If you're willing to listen, I will keep reminding you. There is really no finish line or ending to this. The journey is everlasting, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I love to say I am satisfied but eager for more. You are never going to stop wanting more for yourself, and I hope you never do. The journey is always going to be pushing you forward. You have a choice to make the most of it or resist it. Endings are always the beginning of something new. Live life on your terms. The answers you are seeking are not somewhere out there, they have been within you the entire time. You just have to ask yourself the right questions. What do you really want? What is important to you? And the most crucial, who you really are and want to be. You have a future waiting for you, a future that is full of possibilities and opportunities. What are you doing at this moment to claim that future and enjoy the moments along the way? It may seem challenging, difficult, confusing, complicated, and that's okay. On the other hand, it can also be enlightening, transforming, inspiring, fun, hopeful, and insightful. It all depends on which end you choose to give the most attention to. What I have come to understand in my own experience is eventually all the pieces fall into place. Until then, laugh at the confusion, live in the moment, and know that everything happens for a reason. My goodness. I feel like anything I can say after reading that is going to sound silly, but here's what I got out of it. You talked about not every storm is meant to disrupt your life. Some storms are meant to clear your path. This makes me think of be careful what you pray for. I remember I remember a time where almost I was super cautious the way I would format my prayers because I've been crushed by the universe so many times that like I got to the point where I know now that God's not going to give me what I pray for in the way that I want it or the way that I think it should look. If I pray for patience, God isn't just going to wave a magic patience wand and then poof, oh, I'm patient now. No, God's going to put me in situations that's going to challenge my character. And that's how I believe things like that happen. Um, the experience needed to guide the way. That sentence right there embodies exactly what I believe is happening in my life right now. Like, there's just some things you can't learn from a book. There's some things that you just can't learn in a book or in school. And I believe that that gives me and people like me, alcoholics, it gives us a unique ability to help people that are in our situations. And that's something incredible. I think that that is just, it's all about perspective and the way you look at it. I just think that that's incredible thing to be able to say. I have a unique ability to help somebody who is struggling with addiction. You talked about needing extreme contrast to identify what I wanted and who I wanted to be. That is that is a heavy statement. I always remember growing up saying to myself, I don't ever want to be like my father. And I believe that anything good that you can see in me without knowing me personally, I believe it came from my mother. And I spent a long time, angry, resenting my father, and really just not understanding why he didn't like want to have a relationship with me. I couldn't imagine not wanting a relationship with my son. And now I'm in a place to where I can look back on the relationship I had with my father growing up, and I can find things that he did for me. And one example of that would be, I believe my dad is somewhat responsible for the reason why I'm so close to my brother. I learned as an adult that my dad was a younger brother, and the whole time growing up that he was around, he would always instill in me, you got to take care of little brother, you got to take care of little brother. And you know, I wouldn't have, could have never known that that was foreshadowing for what was to come, you know. Um, but I'm in a place now to where I do not resent my father. I pray for my father. I want him to be happy and to be at peace. Of course, I want a relationship with him. I haven't seen him in over 5 years, but I'm able to, instead of being angry and resentful, I'm able to look back and see, even though, like I said earlier, I don't think, it might not have been in the way that I think it should have happened, but my dad did do stuff for me like that had a positive effect on me. And even if that's something like seeing who he was, and being able to understand that that's not what I want to be like. That's something that I believe that's a positive that came out of this. Um, being grateful for the storm. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say this, and it might sound outlandish, especially to someone who's watching this that's not an alcoholic, but I am grateful that I'm an alcoholic. I am so grateful that I'm an alcoholic because I get to do this. Like I said earlier, I have a unique ability to help someone who's struggling, and I can't think of a higher calling. I never knew what my purpose was in life. There was one other time where I knew why I was alive, and it was when I had custody of my little brother. Today, I know that the stuff that I went through doesn't have to be for no reason. I went through the ringer, and I lived through things that you cannot learn those things from a book. You can read about it, but you can never have that lived experience that us alcoholics share. And me, I know that I'm gonna get to use that for good. So I'm so grateful that I'm an alcoholic. As wild as that sounds. You talked about disrupting vicious cycles, and cousin, there's a generational curse that has plagued our family for long before we were even thought of, and we can proudly say that that ends with us. We broke that generational curse. It goes no further, and I'm proud to say that, and I'm proud of you, and I know you're proud of yourself, and you should be. We can look at ourselves in the mirror today and know that we stopped something that has plagued our family for a very long time. Finding the joy in life isn't about what's going on around you, it's about what's happening within you. I am not a victim today. I do not have to be a victim of my circumstances. I believe God takes everything bad that happens to you and turns it into something that can be used for good. And also what that makes me think of is, focus not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as in what needs to be changed within myself and my attitudes. That is me moving away from that victim mentality. And just that concept right there has brought me so much peace that I can't even really put it into words. I wish I had a word to sum up the amount of peace that I have because of my ability to look at my part in things and focus on what needs to be changed, what I can do better, and not worry about what's going on, all the terrible things that are happening in the world. If I focus on what I can do, I can be that small change that has a ripple effect. And who knows? You never know. You never know how a small act of goodness or kindness can change the world. That's what I believe I'm doing with this channel. Willingness. Willingness. You talked about willingness. I believe that willingness and humility stand right next to each other. You know, in order to be willing, you have to be humble. What is the opposite of humility? It's your ego. My ego is the opposite of humility. My ego tells me, I don't need no help. I don't have a problem. I'm not as bad as they are. I can figure this out on my own. That kept me sick. And I'm lucky it didn't get me killed. Being willing and having an open heart for me was the beginning of me being able to accept help and change. That also makes me think of the saying, going with the stream of life. I spent so much time going against the stream of life with 100-pound boots on. I'm I got tired. It's tiring. It's tiring going against the stream of life. And you talk about finding satisfaction in daily occurrences. Man, that's such a beautiful part of my routine. I get to I get to stop and enjoy the sunset or the sunrise every morning. Every day, no matter how busy I am at work, I take, even if it's 5 seconds, I make sure that I stop and I look at the sunrise and I breathe and I thank God for waking me up today and giving me another chance to do something good in this world. Every day you wake up, you get another chance to do something good. Also, the sunrise and the sunset has always been something that's significant in my life. I remember my mom told me when I was very young to watch every sunset because you'll never see the same one twice. I don't remember how old I was when she said that to me, but I never forgot about that, and it's something that I really appreciate. So, thank you for that, Mom. You talked about leaving the destruction behind. That was one of the scariest parts of getting sober for me, is knowing that I was gonna have to leave a lot of things behind. Pretty much everything that I ever knew. It was a tough pill to swallow, learning that everything that kept me alive for 30 something years was totally wrong. Um, I believe, for me, a lot of my fear came from and still comes from the unknown. I was terrified to get sober. I had no idea. I knew how to get sober, right? Yeah, just stop doing drugs. Cool. There's a lot more to it. I didn't know how to stay sober. And that involved leaving the destruction from that storm behind me. You said something incredibly deep. Diminish the aftermath of the destruction within you. Oh man, that took a lot. That's a lifelong process, I believe. I was able to start that process with counseling. You know, everybody's journey is different, but if you have an opportunity to participate in any kind of counseling, I would highly recommend it because it will give you a chance to look inward. And I believe, drug addiction and alcoholism, that's just a symptom of what's really going on inside. And for me, I was able to dive into a lot of that with counseling. And your mental health is just as, if not more important than your physical health. and it's like I feel like it gets overlooked a lot because you can't see it. It's not something that you can see or touch. But I believe the most important things in life are things that you can't see and touch. You had to make a conscious choice which direction you were ready to move towards. That goes back to that fear, that the fear of the unknown. It takes a lot of bravery to do this. It takes a lot of bravery to do this. Anybody who's in the middle of this fight, I need you to know that I'm proud of you. You are strong, you are brave, and you're not alone. I know what that fear feels like. It's terrifying. Thinking thinking that you have to change every single thing that you've ever known if you want a chance at being sober. The odds are against us, but we do recover. I'm living, walking, breathing proof of that. So are you, cousin. You talked about doubting your ability, your worth, and your purpose. I can absolutely relate to that. Such a curious thing, you know. I remember when I was getting high, believing that, I need this to feel okay. And it's such a evil, insidious thing because, at first it does make you feel okay. It made me feel nothing. And that was better than doubting my worth, my abilities, and my purpose. But it has an adverse effect on you in the long run. It took my soul from me. And I believe that I had no worth. I completely doubted my abilities, what little of them I believed there were, and I could not see a purpose for myself. And that's such a terrible thing to say and think that other people are going through that right now. You know, one of my main goals with this channel is to speak to the people who are right now doubting their abilities, their worth, and their purpose. I want to be a gleaming example of how good your life can be when you discover what your purpose is. And as alcoholics, we are special people. We're different people. We're great people. The majority of us are not bad people, and we show up. When we get our lives together, we are the hardest working people. It takes so much energy to maintain any kind of an addiction. You can put a quarter amount of that effort into anything good, and you're gonna outshine most of the people around you. Last but absolutely not least, I really appreciated your reminder that whoever's watching this, you deserve life, you deserve love, and you deserve happiness just like everybody else. I'm going to say that one more time. Anybody who's watching this, I don't care what you've done, it doesn't matter what you've been through. You deserve life, you deserve love, and you deserve to be happy just like anyone else. Amanda, thank you for sharing this incredible, incredible thing that you wrote. And man, we need to get you in a book somewhere because I'm just astonished at how incredibly eloquent this submission was, and I really appreciate you sending it over to me so that I can share it with my audience. And you know, if you're going through it right now, please reach out to us. I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you think you're gonna waste my time. You're helping me stay sober, and if I can do anything to help you find resources in your area, I would be more than happy to do that. If you have a story to share, you can send it in to thegandyshow@gmail.com. And I want to remind you, you are not alone. You are worth it. I'm out.